I don't know what the moment was when I realized, oh my gosh, I just threw the entire sock drawer on the floor. But it happened. My life on the outside looked so typical at the time. I had a little house and there's a little picket fence, a little tire hanging from a little tree. But back then when I was explaining to Maria what we were going to try to do, particularly in India, there was women that had been sold into prostitution, and so our kids were young, and Maria's like got this young lawyer husband. And I remember walking into all these partners, I think there's 25 of them, and I announced what I was going to be doing next. I lost a pretty good job. I was starting to be guided by this sense of calling. Love Does was just an idea. It actually wasn't even a name at the time. We called it Restore International. In the northern part of Uganda was where the Lord's Resistance Army had been displacing literally millions of people. As many as 40,000 children were abducted. And the friction point was Gulu, Uganda. That was the epicenter of this thing, and decades of unrest. But leading towards a post-Civil War society. If you educate a kid, if you give them an opportunity, and then they get to decide who they want to be, I thought, let's start a school. So we got this college kid named John Niemeyer. John had been in one of my classes at a university I taught at.
Throughout the semester, he talked about all the things he was doing around the world, and Uganda being one of them. They're about to start a school there. He literally said the words, I dare you, I double dog dare you to use me, use my contacts, we'll spin the globe and stop it, and like that's where you go. I'll just tell you who I know in that country and we'll just go do something there. Let's just do great stuff. So the next Monday morning, I just showed up at his office and said, hey, I want to spin the globe. Let's go talk. And I just sat there and I probably didn't get more than 5 words in the rest of the conversation because he pitched this idea of Uganda.
And we took a globe and we spun it. We said, let's just see where you're supposed to end up. And I just parked it hard on Uganda. You could literally put your finger on the balance a little bit. I'm like, God has spoken.
And as soon as I walked out of his office, I told my friends, like, I think I'm moving to Uganda.
We started this school. We told 400,000 Ugandan kids that hadn't been in school, we'll send you to school for nothing. And you know how many showed up on the first day? 9.
And there were more teachers than students the first day of school. And we had just rented out a building. And throughout that time, we're also pursuing land. And so just down the road, this place called Seventh Corner, and it was literally the 7th corner from the Gulu town. We finally got that land title, I think in January of 2008. And we get the land title, we immediately mobilized architects and construction workers, and we got everybody ready to build our school.
And so we had this school, and then all of a sudden we went from 9 to 19 and 29, and I don't know what the number is right now. I think there's 1,400 kids at this school. Here's the deal. John said, would it be okay? There's these 2 boys that are walking to school every day, and they have to walk several miles each day. Would it be okay if I let them stay at the school? And I'm like, no way we are doing a boarding school, just not happening. He said, Bob, just could I have like just 2 bunks? That's all I need, just 2 bunks. And I'm like, no. Well, then the next invoice I saw was like 2 bunks. So I figured out, well, this thing expanded, and then there's 4 bunks and 140 bunks. And
we also had a curriculum that we were teaching to know our students were learning science and math and geography and all the different subjects that they had to learn to pass the standardized tests in Uganda. But then they were also learning about integrity and love and peacemaking.
We had the kids take paints and put them on this canvas, all their handprints. What I was hoping is that these handprints would get bigger, that they were actually, their influence would grow, that these would be the next presidents, these would be the next members of parliament. We had this big idea about who they could become, even bigger than what they thought about who they could become. And what happens in a community like this, where you can create a family where the family has been decimated by war, you create a new level of connection. You put some teachers in those things. And the hope is that that teacher and those kids will connect. They'll start having a vision for their country that would far exceed anything we could hope for it. We started working in countries that are in the midst of civil wars because we saw it as the greatest opportunity for change. And we have so much confidence that God will take us to the next step, the next school, the next place. But it all started with Uganda and an idea and 9 kids and a guy named Tu Bunk John.